Okay, question number 3 for the final exam is to describe the two main components of the central nervous system. What general function does each perform? And then there's a question about injury. So first of all, let's start with this. Of course, the brain, made up of the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brain stem, which is all those other little parts you don't need to really be concerned with. The brain processes information, stores information, and coordinates all the information and coordinates messages coming in from the sensory organs and from the body and going out to the body and to the muscles and the organs. The spinal cord is basically just the wiring that carries that information out. The spinal cord does not process, it does not store information. It simply carries the messages to the brain and carries the messages back from the brain and disperses that information to the body. So, I pose the question then, why does the location of an injury determine how much paralysis a person might encounter? Well, if an injury occurs here, that essentially shuts off the brain from communicating with everything from that point down. So, in that case, the person would still retain communication with everything above that line. And so they may lose the use of their legs, they may lose the use of everything from the belly button down, or perhaps maybe even from the chest down, depending on exactly where that's at. A person experiencing a break or damage here in the neck, maybe diving into a pool that's too shallow, or a car accident, or a football accident, or some other sort of traumatic injury, that person has now, the brain has lost touch with everything below that point. Once that wire is broken, once that spinal cord is broken, it loses touch with everything from that point down. And so you can see how like a very high fracture right at the base of the skull can most likely be fatal, just because it's going to shut off communication with almost all the body, including the heart and lungs and such. And so the location of that injury up and down the spinal cord determines how much of the body the brain loses contact with.